Right, everybody, welcome back. So, bit of a scary weekend for a lot of people, I'm sure, and I don't blame you. It's been pretty scary all around. But in all fairness, we've had this pitchfork in now for over a month, and the pitchfork is held up perfectly. As you can see, the pitchfork has pretty much called the support area here almost exactly. I mean, you couldn't fit an angel's hair in between that gap. That's so fine. So we managed to survive that drop. That's okay, and it looks to me as though we're going to bounce from here. When I say bounce from here, I don't necessarily mean we're going to bounce right back up. Even though every time we hit the bottom level, which is only once really, we have ricocheted quite dramatically up in the following days. So I do expect to see a rally up, maybe to the upper levels here. So pretty much back to where we to where we collapsed from. So maybe a retest of around that area, around the 10,500, before we come back down again to probably maybe the centre bit. Again, it's all about this pitchfork for me. At the moment, the pitchfork is holding up very well. I know that other people are saying that there's a rising channel and this, that and the other, and it's broken down beneath it. That's not the way I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it simply through this pitchfork tool, and the pitchfork has got it quite well, in all fairness. We've had this in for a little while now, and it would appear to me that it would be worth, and I'm not a financial advisor, so this isn't financial advice, but it would be worth perhaps maybe going long at this level. Personally, I've gone long at just basically at where this bounce was, because I have faith in, I suppose, my own TA. I don't look at other people's TA, I look at my own, and I would always say to everybody who watches this channel, try to learn it yourself and get a grasp of it yourself. Don't wait for people like me to make videos or send tweets and stuff. You want to be in control of your own destiny. You want to learn to do it yourself. It's a matter of trial and error and practice and patience and basically experience. You'll get there in the end, don't worry. But like I say, until then, follow my channel and watch what I do. Feel free to watch as many channels as you like. A lot of people have got different trading styles, and this one's mine. Anyway, we've managed to not break out of this descending this trend. This pitchfork trend, which is great, which suggests to me that we are probably going to be going back up again to at least test the areas maybe where these candle bodies have all been kind of flat. So I would probably say over the next few days to the next week we'll see 10,350 again, and then it'll be interesting to see where that lies. In fact, interestingly enough, the centre of this pitchfork is at that level tomorrow, so we might have a big launch up to that level maybe tomorrow. That would make sense for it to actually do that. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at Bitcoin, and obviously the rest of the market's governed by Bitcoin. There's a lot of people saying, it's everything's a scam, blah 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 blah. Look, when we look at this channel, what do we see? We see ups, we see downs, but we see an upwards facing channel. Everything's looking good. We've got golden crosses, we've got a halving event for what that's worth. And I don't think it's worth as much as people think it's worth, but it's worth something. I do expect to be seeing a huge dump after the halving event, to be honest with you. I think it's a bit of a non-event at this stage. With this amount of money involved in Bitcoin, I think it's a little bit of a non-event. I think much of that has been priced in a year ago. But that said, we're going on the TA here. We don't go on fundamentals, even though something like that generally should make a difference, and it does make a difference to the overall price. But all I'm saying is, I'm not one of those people that's saying that just because we've dumped from here to here, it's all over. I go on Twitter sometimes, and it's just unbelievable. Just to read what people say, they change their minds in a heartbeat about what the future lies for Bitcoin. At the moment, the future in Bitcoin would almost certainly be a move to the up to test 10,000 and just beyond, around 10,350 before a rejection point. Maybe even all of that will happen tomorrow. Anyway, that's enough of Bitcoin. So this is where we stand with the crypto market. Anyway, this is what's governing it. Okay, Bitcoin dominance has gone up a little bit more, which means that alts they'll still be rallying. There's a decent spread of Bitcoin dominance. I think it's about 64 or something at the moment, which is quite high in all fairness. But we will see some pumps with all the altcoins. Generally, they'll start to climb back up to where they came from. But Bitcoin is going to start to become more dominant, I expect, at this point. Now, for whatever reason, if we do break down beneath this level, which it is possible, it's not likely, but it is possible, then it would be over. It would be really significantly nasty, and maybe even come down to test it as low as the bottom of the Bollinger Band, which is all the way down here, which is also where the green 50 exponential moving average is. So that's all the way down to basically 9,000 flat, and that is a possibility, even though it's not likely. But falling out beneath this pitchfork could see a drop all the way down to that level. So just so you've got the I suppose the overview of what could happen, that also could happen, which is why I have faith in my own TA, which is why I placed along here. And if for whatever reason we do fall down beneath here, my stop loss is around 9,500. I think it's just a little lower than that, 9,450 I think mine is. So that's where I stand on Bitcoin. I don't know about you, but that's where I stand on Bitcoin, and that will in turn tell me where the rest of the market's heading. So let's have a look at the rest of the market, shall we? Alts have taken a big beating. In fact, Ethereum a bit more of a beating than I expected. I did think that we were going to come down and test the 10 simple, where we did to start with, but then that broke down. We had a big wick all the way down here to 237, which is a lot lower than I expected it to be. But I don't mind. If you think about it, the RSI has been higher on Ethereum than it has been on most other coins, so a pullback is necessary, and it's actually it's really needed. So even with this pullback, look, the RSI has only just started getting back into the neutral zone, and it's only just dipped its toe into the neutral zone. So there could be more to go with this one overnight. We just don't know. But Ethereum is definitely strong overall. It's very, very strong. So this is close to a parabolic move, even though it's not parabolic, but it's a very, very strong, consistent move throughout this entire time. Got the golden cross. I think people got a bit excited over that, and it just went a bit too high for its own good. I mean, look, in the most recent history, we haven't even seen daily wicks of that height. I'm not calling it wicks, but peaks. You see of RSIs. In fact, even way back here, when we're all the way right up here, 1,455, the RSI was pretty much where it was lower than where we were recently. So let's put things into consideration here. Let's bear all that in mind. It had to come down at some point. That should have been a telltale sign. Anyway, let's move on from Ethereum. So everything's still the same for me with Ethereum. We are still super bullish on Ethereum. My targets are still the same, 300, 320. My targets over the next couple of weeks. That might sound bizarre and crazy, but that's where my targets are still. I don't think anything has changed for me with Ethereum. There's no reason why it should have done. It's a very bullish chart. Just needs to come down a little bit, and it could still come down from here. But don't worry, I'm not worried at all. I'm expecting big moves, big bold moves from Ethereum, to carry on into the next week or two and months to come. XRP. Now this is an interesting one. This had its own little vibe going on here. So XRP had significant resistance at 34 cents. We broke out of this channel here, which is the channel that we've been in, this descending trend I should call it really, for 2 years. It's consolidation zone. It's been consolidating for 2 years. So it broke out of there and went turbo bullish and hit its resistance. We were bouncing our heads on it 3 days in a row, and then broke down massively to actually come down to test it. So it's tested the level or the descending trend that we've been in, the consolidation trend, the 2 year trend. It's tested that and bounced from it basically. Which is good because it could suggest that it's a support. It's a descending support, which isn't great, but it also means that it's wanting to stay above it, which if we confirm a candle body close above it, even though the weekly looks ridiculous now, it looks completely ridiculous, but if we do confirm this, which like I say does look ridiculous, if we can confirm our candle body above this descending trend, for me we're still good to go with XRP in the coming weeks and months, and to go super bullish on this baby. I'm not too fussed about the way that it's moved really. I should have expected it, but look, the RSI is right down here, which is great. That's really good. Let's see if we can spot a little channel on here as well. In fact, is there some kind of relevance to it? Not really, actually, not really. No, there's nothing really going on there of any significance. So it's all about closing that candle body above this descending trend, which and again, this is very rough and rugged. It's not an exact science, and It's very crude the way that I've drawn it in. We're pretty much resting on top of it now. To be safe, we want to be closing above, above 28.5 cents really for this to kick in. But I'd like to see a close of maybe 29 or so. It's a shame really that we had such a big pullback, but I don't really see any change in behaviour really. I do see that it was a nasty rejection, but the entire market took a big rejection too. But XRP pretty much lost everything that it gained from that last big push when we broke out of this downwards trend that we broke out of. So, like I say, I still think everything's good to go on this one, but you know, the move is technically still in play, this downwards trend. You know, we are bouncing from certain areas, but technically the downwards trend could still be in play. It's very, very early to say. It's been a big red weekend for most, but I think we're likely to pick up, given what I'm expecting with Bitcoin and the rest of the market in general. Small cap coins took a really big hit also. Looking at Harmony 1 here, it was a shame to see it break down back into the itchy cloud. The level of support, the 620 support, is where I really wanted to see it stay above, but it just couldn't do it. I think it hovered around there for a little bit. Let's go to a smaller time. Let's go to an hourly to see how it behaved on an hourly. Because I remember looking at it. I mean, I don't get a great deal of time to look at this anymore. It didn't really stay much, so it didn't give it much. There was no hope for it really. It died a death, but you know, it's a reasonably strong coin. We've got our MACD cross there, so I mean, I'm not looking to get involved in this one at all, to be honest with you. It's I did have a little bit of it for a bit of a pump, but I got out quite a while ago, so I missed a lot of moves, but I gained a lot more moves on things like Ethereum, which is where most of my money still is. I don't really want to be playing around with small cap coins when the market looks like it wants to do a shift in dominance back into Bitcoin. So yeah, I left this one alone. But personally, where we're going from here, we're above the green 50, which is fine, but we're getting negative slopes on some of these indicators. We've come down, and we're below sort of the 9 exponential, the 10 simple. We're below all of those, and we don't want to be below those really. And now they've got negative slopes. It's pretty dangerous because the price actions here, they could come down beneath the 20 and the 37. All these other technically death crosses in their own right. And that could carry on down. We do have our cross here on the MACD, so you know, this will all be confirmed tonight, and then over the next few days we really need to get back above this cloud, because if we don't, we'll start to get some of these negative crosses, and it might mean a continuation down. So that could have been the end of the one Harmony 1 pump. The problem I've got with this, which is unlike all the other coins you see, is that all these other top cap coins are way above the 200 exponential, which is where you want to be when you're actually bullish. If you're beneath it, you're not bullish, you see. So until it's not even tested it yet. So until we break above it, it's difficult to call it bullish. We want to stay above there for it to really be, I say, confirmed as a bullish trend. That's when the big moves get made, when we're above that kind of above that moving average, and we're still way beneath it, and now we're getting negative slopes on some of the shorter term time frame moving averages. So it doesn't look good to me. It doesn't look good at all. Matic also looks horrendous. Matic was looking horrendous before, actually, because we were getting a definite, without question, we were getting lower highs on this, and now we're getting lower lows. So it looks pretty bad. Again, you can see these negative slopes forming. That looks pretty bad. And actually, this fat blue one here, this is the conversion line. Ichimoku cloud. So what would happen is if this continues over the next few days at this trajectory, we will cross beneath this red one here, which is a conversion baseline cross. So that will mean continuation for a move down. So it doesn't look good at all. It doesn't look good for Matic. But again, you know, all of this can change in a heartbeat, because, like I say, if we're judging Bitcoin on this pitchfork tool that I've got going here, it governs the market. But what you'll notice is that Bitcoin only fell, you know, a little bit today, 3% or something. Is not a great deal, and some of these coins took a tumble of over 10%. These small cap coins really did fall. For Matic, we're beneath the 2 cent now. We're beneath 2 cent, which is what's going on here. We're beneath 2 cent, which is what's supposed to be a support line for us now. So being beneath that is bearish. So it's looking bearish in many ways, in every way. We've got our cross easily confirmed there. It doesn't look good on Matic. A Binance coin, what a shame. I hold a fair bit of Binance coin. I do like Binance coin. Good thing is we got a golden cross here, but it's not done us any favours really when the market's so bearish. It might mean a good thing for us though if the market picks up, because this will pick up at a faster rate than a lot of the others. We've fallen really far down. We almost got to the centre of the Bollinger Band on this one. Testing this big launch pad here, this is where our candle body started a few days ago, and we came back down to test that exact level. So 21. That's fine. I think there's still life left in this. We haven't got our cross on the MACD. RSI is down in the centre. I think this one could recover faster than most, but it all depends on Bitcoin, obviously. But you know, it's been a bad day. The idea is to not be over leveraged on anything, which is always the key. Don't be over leveraged on any of your positions. 2-3x is perfectly fine. Realistic stop losses. So you know, obviously it would have been a great place to go short, but a good place to go long, you know, pretty much was this area. And I would say that, you know, even though I'm not a financial advisor, so it's not financial advice, this is just what I'm doing. I'm not telling you to do anything. But me personally, I'm going long now on a few positions, because I think that this is as far as it's going to go, and if we do go down a little bit further, you know, it'll be a big drop, so stop losses can be put in place and not too far from where they bottomed out right now, you see. So for instance, XRP, I've gone long on XRP, my stop loss would be I think it's lower than that actually. I think it's around 25.5, which is obviously quite a lot, but if we break down beneath this trend, I would expect it to drop down further and retrace. We're talking about a complete bottom falling out of the market, and is what I'm talking about. So if we've still got faith in the market, then yeah, going long in these positions would be quite good on the top caps. These small caps, they don't look great to me. I would leave them the hell alone. But Binance Coin, Ethereum, XRP, Bitcoin, you know, I've gone long on those since I saw this get tested here. So I think, you know, there's a good chance that things could pull through. But my stop losses are in place, because if it falls down, it'll be really nasty, and I don't want to be caught up in that. Anyway, that's all I've got for you, I'm afraid. Let's hope that next week is a bit more fruitful than this weekend, which has been horrendous for everybody. But let's not worry about it. The direction of this trend is still up, despite this big red candle coming all the way down this weekend. The direction is still up. So let's not worry so much about it. Let's just wait and see what happens in the next week. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you have a nice evening. Take it easy.